know what Sony had? The Holy Trinity. Leo, Brad, and Margot. Who do you have?
Hello and welcome to Boy Party, the podcast about movies where two major stars share the screen and battle it out for screen time toppling, the fatter paycheck, the most acclaim, and the biggest muscles. My name is Lucien and I'm joined today by the man who's only accompanied me to the gym once. It's Shane Kelly. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Did this film appeal to your personality as a man who cycles to the gym like 4 times a week?
Not really. This is a different sort of gym culture than I'm into.
We know people who are into this, though. They
do.
seem very fulfilled, and lots of other hobbies and interests to go with it. Definitely not all-consuming to be obsessed with building up as much muscle as possible.
You can say that about any hobby people are into.
I guess there's a lot of interesting stuff in this film about the type of mindset, type of psychology of a man who spends all his time weightlifting, powerlifting, taking steroids, whatever it is.
I think with any sort of hobby, there's a line you cross at a certain point when anything becomes unhealthy. Like you can say the same about golf. You can probably say the same about your favorite hobby, which is like being a hater.
Being a hater is my favorite hobby, but I wouldn't say that being a hater results in me looking like a freak monster, not human.
Well, not to yourself.
Not to myself, but maybe to others.
Maybe to others.
I'm a hater of many things, folks, but I'm not a hater of the movie Pain and Gain, which I think rules and is good. And I've come around on this, sort of passively come around on this film without having actually revisited it for years. I remember seeing it in 2013. I watched this film the day that the junior cert results came out in 2013. And this is a funny coincidence because you will recall, listeners, from last week's episode that I said I watched Psycho the night before my junior cert exams began.
Yeah.
And then I watched Pain and Gain the day the junior cert results came out. So there's a nice bit of connectivity there.
Yeah, I think it has aged very gracefully as well.
It's
just
aged
given
well, but
the way the culture has developed.
But I watched it in 2013 and I was in this very, very ignorant anti-Michael Bay thing that was just...
it was the trope at the time.
It was the trope at the time. I was taking Mark Kermode very seriously, and he's such a hater of good blockbuster filmmaking, and he was being so negative about Michael Bay all the time, and I was like, oh, so true. Vulgar tourism is bad. I hate when the camera does cool, interesting things.
Yeah.
I hate movies having color in them.
Oh, terrible.
Awful. Everything should look like Ridley Scott and Christopher Nolan. So I thought this movie was fine, but I was out to dislike it. And I just listened to enough people over the years making a case for it that I had decided, without watching a single second of it since, that it actually was good and I liked it. So when we sat down to revisit it this week, I knew I was going to like it, and I did, and I think it's good, and I'm glad we decided to cover it on the show.
Yeah, I think sometimes you can look for reasons to maybe try and give The Rock and Mark Wahlberg a bigger credit.
Yeah.
Especially when something's old, you're like, they must have had something back then to justify the careers they had.
The Rock had something back then. I've never been in doubt. Mark Wahlberg, I'm willing to accept that he never really had it. Like, I actually think Mark Wahlberg doesn't do anything special in this movie that he couldn't do today. I think that Mark Wahlberg's talent has remained consistent throughout his career.
Yeah.
It's really just his willingness to like take risks that has gone away. And now he has become one of these stars, not unlike The Rock, who has become very comfortable in streaming slop world where he can make 2 to 3 movies a year that are extremely low effort for him and extremely high payout, but they're directed by nobody filmmakers and they're never released in cinemas. And as a result, he has the appearance of a guy with no talent, even though I think if he wanted to work with a good director now, he'd be able to give a performance just as good as he gave in 2013 or 1996.
Yeah, like I think he's probably strongest in comedy stuff. Like he's good in Ted, he's good in the other guys. Like
Boogie Nights is a comedy for all intents and purposes. Like he's really good in comedy stuff.
Yeah.
And
like I think this really stands out because this is kind of a self-reflective thing in a way where, not literally, but the guys being depicted are probably the kind of guys who would like The Rock and Mark Wahlberg.
Yes, absolutely.
But it doesn't... But it's not a... The two guys probably didn't approach this film as a, look, this is a deep piece of introspection like Smashing Machine probably was for The Rock.
The Smashing Machine is... And I believe this word should be used carefully and correctly. the most pretentious fucking shit imaginable, right?
Yeah.
People use the word pretentious wrongly. No. What is pretentious is The Rock making a weepy biopic for awards attention about a sad addict version of himself. That is like the ultimate, like, trying to dress a fucking cornflake up in a wedding dress. I just invented a new saying. Yeah. It's just like, no. Pain and Gain is achieving and succeeding at exactly what it's trying to do. Whether Wahlberg and Rock know what it's doing, I'm not sure, but Michael Bay definitely does.
Yeah.
And the writers do, and that's a lot of fun. This movie was written by these guys. I didn't really know had this in them. Christopher and what the fuck are their names? Steven. One of them's a Christopher, one of them's a Steven. Mm-hmm. Marcus and McFeely. They write all the Marvel shit now. They write all the Captain Americas. They write all the Avengers. And they've written the Grey Man and the other Russo brothers crap, the Electric State. I don't know how they came up with something with this many good jokes when collectively I think their other movies have like maybe 2 memorable jokes in them. But this is genuinely really funny. And they obviously did have like some good comedy spirit at one point in their careers.
Maybe they just had the vulgarity stripped from them and they weren't able to
maybe
keep it going in a kind of a polite way.
Yeah, this film is like gross and greasy and like kind of nasty in a way that I really like. I think that it really like puts everything out there on screen in terms of the energy that these guys have like coursing through their lives, where like the movie does a really good job of representing just how kind of slimy it is to be in Miami, to be in these environments, to be at gyms and strip clubs and around these kind of like criminal mobster types. Mm-hmm. And it does it in this very like hyper saturated, colorful way where you can kind of see the beads of sweat on everyone's face in every scene, and neon lights, constantly kind of like ultraviolet lights shining on people, and fucking tanning beds, and just it's just like it's kind of comparable to I don't know, like Harmony Korine's Spring Breakers or something in terms of just like very brash and bright and neon soaked depiction of this kind of like great lifestyle you can have that I think actually does make you feel kind of sick in a way that feels very true to reality. And I think that's a sign of really good direction by Michael Bay, who is from this background, like a gross, sleazy guy, ultimately, who probably has spent a lot of his life in
on
strip
tanning
clubs,
beds,
in strip clubs, and around really nasty, like right-wing people and misogynists. And I think he understands this world, but he's unfortunately really talented, and he's really good at like getting his camera into the spots where you're going to be able to pick up on this vibe.
Yeah, I think this is like a tonal masterclass.
Absolutely. Now, it's very easy to draw comparisons, I think, with a movie that comes out about 3 months later, which is The Wolf of Wall Street, which is another film about vulgarity and the American excess, you know?
Yeah.
And you could, the tagline of that movie is like, more is never enough. You could say the same thing about this. The tagline of this movie, which I love, is their American dream is bigger than yours. Like, it's very similar in terms of like, American capitalism is out of control.
No, like, you can kind of go in circles in your head trying to decide which depiction is better, and you can critique The Wolf of Wall Street because a lot of stupid people see it as a representation of success and something people idolize, and whatever, your finance bros have posters of it on the wall.
Yeah.
And then you watch this and it's like more explicitly that the guys are idiots and not people to be kind of admired.
Yeah.
But then you go around in the other circle and maybe Scorsese's version is more complex because in real life people do idolize this sort of stuff and make rational decisions.
But all I have to say is we're 13 years removed. You can just look at the evidence.
This is fucking better.
This movie has never been valorized in that way, and I think that's a testament to the film.
Yeah, like is something more representative of the time and the excess because it was valorized? Like, are they doing a better job at kind of...
The Wolf of Wall Street though doesn't have any, like, The Wolf of Wall Street could be made today. Both these movies are set in the 90s, is worth mentioning as well, which is very important. I think. The Wolf of Wall Street could be made today, and I think it would be the exact same film. I think that this is doing something very of the moment, and I tie it in with Donald Trump.
Oh yeah,
a couple years later, that this is about the culture of masculinity and excess and tanning beds that was a counterculture, a subculture in 2013. It was like, these freaks down in Florida are like this. Aren't they gross? We in Hollywood are going to make fun of them. And 4 years later, a person of that world was running the country, and now the type of guys depicted in this film are no longer a subculture. They are the culture in America. They are MAGA world, and the Florida tanning bed lifestyle is now the dominant American cultural lifestyle.
Yeah, and like, I guess this is kind of culminated in the recent Louis Theroux documentary.
Yeah.
Which I guess it got to a point where you just literally have to kind of document these guys in reality rather than be making fictional pieces about made up guys in the 90s.
These guys in the 90s are still isolated characters who find each other in gyms and do little schemes. But in 2026, these guys are all YouTubers and TikTokers.
The looks maxer
they're looks maxing, and they're
selling courses,
and they're getting arrested for human trafficking, probably. Right? So there's like a kind of an ability to look back at this with a bit of fondness as a 2013 relic of like, oh man, they didn't know how bad it was going to get. This is a really good satire of something that had existed up until that point, but you couldn't make Pain and Gain today because now it would be like, actually, like you could make the Sean Baker version of Pain and Gain, right? Which is like proper horror and like done in this kind of like authentic way. But the kind of like cheeky, tongue-in-cheek version of this depiction of this culture, you couldn't do it today.
No, because these people
are in
have
charge.
Political power.
They have political power when they're in charge.
And I think you can see getting into power has probably brought out a nastiness that's not reflected in Pain and Gain, where there's no real hostility to... Yeah, I think the point I'm trying to make is that the rise to power of these types has probably brought out worse instincts in them that weren't necessarily there when you're kind of a subculture, where kind of keeping to yourself.
They're
maybe
losers in this.
maybe but maybe like the resentment of minorities and evilness towards people that aren't like you aren't as present in this because you're just kind of consumed in yourself and don't have any power to be making policies or anything. So, not to defend these type of men. There's a lot of probably casual racism and misogyny in these films. But
there's definitely a lot of misogyny in this film.
But there's no ambition beyond making themselves rich.
Exactly.
There's no...
They turn violent, but it's only for personal gain. They're not trying to take down
They're
society.
not trying to bring up universal terror.
Yeah, exactly.
So, that's probably a terrible piece of political analysis. But anyway,
it's a pity that it's the only time that Michael Bay has ever made a film that could even remotely be described as like a human story.
Is this really it? Yeah.
Like every other movie he's made is spectacle over plot. Like you've got his debut film is Bad Boys. We've covered The Rock in the show. Armageddon, Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor is probably the next closest one in terms of like the balance of character to spectacle.
Yeah.
Bad Boys 2, The Island, 5 Transformers movies. This is lodged right in between 3 and 4. He goes immediately from this to making 4 with Wahlberg, which comes out 6, maybe 8, 9 months after this.
Yeah.
And then he does 13 Hours. I mean, maybe that's the other one you could count. 6 Underground and Ambulance, and then he did a documentary about parkour guys last year.
Yeah.
I'd love him to make another movie like this. I don't know if I necessarily want him to deal with the kind of the weird like political angle, but because he's clearly pretty right wing. But I would like him to make a film that's like movie stars, crime caper type thing again in some capacity, because I think he's really, really good at it, and his like incredibly vivid and active camera work is so riveting when it's in these like small scale like chase sequences, car chases, guys doing pull-ups, people in interrogation scenes. It's so used so well here, whereas like I've seen enough of him shooting a fucking massive explosion out of a skyscraper. He can only do so many new.
He has a kind of way of doing computers are cool, but for humans.
Yeah, exactly.
Where, like, people are cool.
Yeah, people are cool. Yeah, it's great. No need for that now. It's based on a true story, which I found very hard to believe. But it's very inspired by a true story.
Yeah.
But the character names are the same. You got Daniel Lugo being the Wahlberg character, Paul Doyle, Okay, now I'm seeing here that Paul Doyle is based on 3 real guys.
Yes,
Carl Weeks, Stevenson Pierre, and Jorge Delgado. And then Mackey's character was a guy called Adrian Doorbell. Sounds like doorbell. And then Tony Shalhoub's character, they say in the credits that they like anonymized him to protect the identity of the real guy. But then the real guy obviously wanted to like sue the filmmakers.
Yeah,
so he outed himself, Mark Schiller, and was like, "This isn't what happened." And Ed Harris plays Detective Ed Dubois III. Fun that it's based on a true story. I never would have guessed. I imagine a lot of this stuff is made up, but it's inspired by the Sun Gym gang in the mid-90s who were responsible for the murders of Frank Griga and Christina Furton. So basically the movie is about a guy who is a dunce weightlifter, played by Mark Wahlberg, who wants to get rich quick. He's kind of engaged in this program by this self-help guru played by Ken Jeong in a very funny performance that is very 2013 piece of casting.
Yes.
And he it's a bit like feeling demotivated. Does he work for Rob Corddry?
No, Rob Corddry. Oh, sorry, he works in Rob Corddry runs the gym he works for. Yeah.
Rob Corddry runs the gym.
Like he's kind of running a series of various jobs. Like at one point he expresses that he did some jail time because he was running like an investment scam for old people where he'd be like, "Oh, I'll triple your money," and they give him the money, and obviously it's a Ponzi scheme or something.
So he makes friends with Anthony Mackie's character, who has taken so many steroids that his penis won't work anymore. And he has to start getting injections in his penis from Rebel Wilson, which leads to both a happy marriage and lots of funny sequences.
Absolutely.
So he meets this guy who is this wealthy guy who's a guy at the gym. Victor Kershaw, played by Tony Shalhoub, who's great in this movie and has a big role in it and is so funny in it, and is introduced with this fucking incredible shot where he steps out of a really tall apartment building and takes a step forward, and the camera pans up just as a Boeing flies out from behind the building,
and it looks enormous.
It's such a cool shot, this low angle shot of this plane going over the building. It's amazing. So he then gets involved with this very religious guy who's played by The Rock,
who's just out of prison, I believe.
Who's like become a born again Christian, and he's gone off just
and he's sober and he doesn't drink anymore,
and he's like, "Will you please get involved in my scheme? We're gonna kidnap this guy, and we're gonna basically."
Sorry, it is incredibly amusing that like from the Johnny Woo Ken Jeong videos, his takeaway was, "I will just kidnap a guy, torture him, and take his money."
Yeah,
like that is the get rich quick scheme.
I think it makes sense. So then so The Rock shows up. I'm just like looking here about 25 minutes in. They go to buy guns from a really funny guy that I liked a lot. This guy's
Timothy
Busfield type guy. And he's like, "Do you want to test out this taser? Hit me with the taser! Hit me with the taser!" They then go and they kidnap Tony Shalhoub and they keep him in a sex toy warehouse.
They do.
And they have different dynamics with him. Mark Wahlberg's horrible to him. He puts on an accent and he's really mean. But then The Rock is so stupid that Tony Shalhoub is very easily able to manipulate The Rock.
Because The Rock is all about forgiveness now and being born again and forgiveness of your sins and the like.
So Tony Shalhoub is kind of slowly schmoozing The Rock into a place where he'll help him escape or whatever. Ultimately, though, they end up trying to kill Tony Shalhoub. The other guys force The Rock to drive over his head in a massive 4x4.
Oh, Jesus.
But which is in a really nasty
scene. They have a multiple. It's like Rasputin. It's like Rasputin here. Like they failed to kill him. I think what they do is
out of the movie alive. Yeah, he's sure he's still alive.
He's fine.
That's so
Sorry. Yeah, they film him full of drink.
Yeah.
They put him in a car. They put a brick on the accelerator and let the car off and drive into a wall. He survives because Anthony Mackie decided to put a seatbelt on him.
Yeah.
Then they light the car on fire. That doesn't work. He managed to get out of that alive. He eventually falls over, and they're like, "Oh, let's just drive over him with the truck." And they're like, "All right, let's do this." And The Rock is driving. And after that attempt, Mark Wahlberg turns to The Rock in probably one of the most devastating scenes of this film, and he goes, "You just killed a man.
Oh,
that was a good thing.
We did it.
Like we did."
And he's like, "No. I provided options.
You drove the car." And that was quite upsetting.
Horrible.
Thankfully,
He survived.
Victor Kershaw survives.
Yeah. So he survives, and he basically escapes to a nursing home. Like
No, he's in hospital first, and the police arrive. To
sorry. The three guys who are, remember, massive, enormous men, show up to the hospital dressed up as doctors.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene where they're like, unfortunately, our plan was ruined because we couldn't figure out the complex floor marking system of the hospital.
Yeah.
And it just shows Anthony Mackie trying to figure out all of these colored lines on the floor that take you to different wards.
Yeah.
It's like a Tim Robinson skit. It's brilliant.
It's really funny. But just before that, Mr. Kershaw has been interrogated by the police. And he's like, yeah, I was kidnapped and tortured. And they're like, so where are you from? Colombia, huh? A lot of drugs in Colombia. And he's just being ignored. It's very funny.
It's great.
Yeah.
This film was made for $26 million.
That's outstanding.
Wahlberg and The Rock both declined to take a fee up front and signed on instead for back end on the film's profits. Ooh. Unfortunately, it only ended up making 86.
Okay.
So I don't know how much they would have realistically gotten. I mean, 86 isn't nothing. But it's not amazing. I mean,
like what do they consider back? Like, do they factor in marketing?
I don't know, but they would have had a percentage of that gross.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that they ended up getting half as much as they would have if they just took the salary up front. But the movie might not have got made if they took the salary.
What were they commanding back then? 8 or 9 million, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Certainly not the 20 that they were getting later. But
yeah,
I think Wahlberg got a big fee for that first Transformers, but I can't quite remember. Also in the cast of this movie, you've got the great Ed Harris, who plays this kind of retired detective. Tony Shalhoub he has a really old newspaper or a really old magazine in hospital, and he sees an ad.
The Yellow Pages.
Yeah, it's the Yellow Pages. I think he sees an ad for Ed Harris's father, and he's like, rings the number, and Ed Harris is like, well, that was my father, and he's dead, and I'm also retired.
Yeah.
But I'll take on your case.
Yeah.
So he basically tries to track down the guys based on the little bits of information.
Because the police are no help.
Yeah. So they basically are following Tony Shalhoub, trying to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of takes up the bulk of the film. There is this third act introduction of another rich guy that they want to fuck with, which I think is where the film starts to like drag on a little bit. And this is I think Michael Rispoli character. This is where it's like the real guys did murder these two other people, so the film has to incorporate that in a way. Yeah. But the film has kind of already hit every narrative beat you wanted to, so now I
actually don't know why they recruit him. They're trying to give him a business proposition of sorts?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not necessarily. It drags the runtime up to like 130 minutes for no reason. It could easily be a 105 minute film. So that stuff I wasn't mad on, but it does end with Wahlberg and Mackie having to dispose of these dead bodies with a chainsaw, which is kind of a very like Breaking Bad type scene, which is kind of funny. There is, I'm trying to think of what else happens in the meantime. Like it's ultimately it's like kind of Coen Brothers type farce of like these mishap fucking laden plans to kidnap and murder people, plus this kind of Scorsese level of energy and aggression, but it's packaged in this real like Pitbull music video way. I love that combination. I think that's a delightful combination, and I think
it's like, for something that feels pretty light, like when you're watching any individual scene, you're like, this is fucking nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're chopping up bodies.
And finding out that it's based on a true story is a whole other level of nasty.
Yeah.
It's I think about as fun of a use as you can get for actors who are known for being kind of dumb in real life and have this like kind of stupid macho aura about them. And are just like guys who make movies for, as you said, men who are in this movie. So it's like very, very self-aware use of these guys. And I think that it's some of their best work and gets the funny stuff out of them, gets the good physical comedy out of how big The Rock is, especially. I'm sure Wahlberg loved the fact that he's being positioned next to The Rock as another equally strong and big guy in this.
Yeah, it is funny. Wahlberg is now the born-again Christian.
Exactly. In real life.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else is in this. Peter Stormare shows up for one scene as like the penis doctor that Mackie and Rebel Wilson are dealing with.
There's a couple of intermediate scenes where they're like just enjoying their money.
Yeah, which are really good fun.
Like Wahlberg moves into a fancy mansion.
Oh,
and
yeah,
was like
it's
hanging out with the kids.
throwing hoops with the kids
He
nearby.
invites all the kids down. He's like, "You gotta come chasing tail with me in a few years."
There's this insane cop who shows up to interview Tony Shalhoub in the hospital, who looks like, I don't know, if John C. Reilly was a Family Guy character.
I honestly thought it was John C. Reilly for like a split
scene,
second.
Yeah, that whole scene with Shalhoub in the hospital is amazing because Shalhoub can't talk properly and he's talking like this.
He's wearing neck brace.
Then there's this crazy fat guy in the bed opposite him who's like, I need to go to the toilet. I'm about to
what's
shit.
his name again?
He's so good.
Yeah. Huey or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. So there's just like a bunch of really funny characters. They have Scooby-Doo car seat covers.
Yes.
I'm just skimming through it here looking for imagery that I found amusing. I thought Ed Harris was delightful. Great use of him. Glad to see him reunite with Michael Bay some years after The Rock. Anthony Mackie's fine. I'm never a huge fan of Anthony Mackie. My favorite Anthony Mackie thing ever is there's the clip of him just like tearing the shit out of the guy from that fucking journalist who thinks that Man of Steel is a masterpiece, and he's like, "You've got to be kidding me! You've got the worst taste ever. I hope you don't."
Is he
review
in Man of
movies
Steel
anymore." No.
Oh.
No, he's just like, that film is dreadful. What are you saying? It's so funny.
No, I think he's a good pair with
He's good in this.
Rebel Wilson in this.
He is.
It's
Stuff with
a
Rebel
fun
Wilson is good,
subplot to be going on.
It is. There's a lot of fun stuff going on in this.
Yeah, and like Rebel Wilson comes off very well in this. She's quite
does. She's
funny,
very
and
good.
she's not the subject of
anti-fat humor that you'd expect. In a Michael Bay movie, like
in a film about bodybuilding.
Yeah, like there's a lot of the. I feel like this film, for all, and people will argue, and I will accept totally that this film has like strip club scenes in it that are just shot as lecherously as any Michael Bay movie shoots women, and this film is inherently got a lot of misogynistic stuff in it. But I would argue that in terms of like body fascism towards the men, I don't think this film leans into that with as much genuine spirit as you might expect. I think that it has a bit more of a, like, compared to, say, the Tom Ford movies that we were discussing recently with Nocturnal Animals, I think that this film has a pretty ironic relationship with the bodybuilding, addiction, body fascism shit, where, like, I don't think this movie would make you feel bad about not looking like these guys.
No,
and
not
on the
even
other
remotely.
hand,
Like, they look ridiculous.
Yeah, and
they're,
I also
like
think that
they're quite heavily inflated on steroids.
Yeah, this movie wasn't made by someone who thinks that this is the perfect male physique.
No,
and I
not at
also
all.
don't think that the film treats the overweight female character with the ridicule that other films might. Considering it's about, perfect shape or whatever.
Yeah,
that's never really
and
part
the
of her
ultimate way
character.
to like combat the muscular man is to make his penis not work.
Yeah, exactly, and that's very
that's a pretty key part of this.
and that would scare you off doing steroids. It really would.
It would.
It ends on this very weird, like, earnest note of Ed Harris and his wife, like, looking out over the sea, just being like, "Life's good, isn't it?" And I'm like, "All right, there
Did
you
they
go."
catch the boys in the end?
What? You see them in prison at the end, yeah. You see Wahlberg in prison.
Oh,
and he says,
sorry. Yeah, they get sentenced.
Life is going to give me another set.
They get sentenced to death.
I believe in fitness. Does he?
Yeah.
Did he get killed?
I don't know.
Daniel
He
Lugo
might still
died.
very much be on death row.
Daniel Lugo. Date of death. This is crazy. We're about to find out. Daniel Lugo is
Dead or alive?
I think he's alive.
Okay.
It's saying is everywhere here, so I think he's alive.
Yeah.
Jurors recommend life in prison for pain and gain killers. Okay.
Oh.
He didn't get the death penalty.
Oh, I thought it said that in the little.
It does
blog.
say he was sentenced to death. I just don't think they ever went through with it. So, good film, good fun. Would recommend to anyone who hasn't seen it. I would like to say a few words about The Rock, who we obviously talked about on episode 4 of Boy Party. Many years ago, Central Intelligence. I think a lot has changed since then. The Rock has made The Smashing Machine, which has been kind of this weird 1 foot into real cinema, quote unquote, that he took. Not a bad performance, honestly. Like, he's not bad in that film. I thought it was grand. I thought the movie wasn't for me, but he is doing something different in it. Like, his main characteristic in that movie is that he is addicted to pills, and therefore he could have gone in 2 directions with it. He could have been, "I am The Rock and I'm addicted to pills," but instead he goes for, I hear you. I'm gonna just ignore you because I am addicted to pills. Like, he's doing this very like mannered, considered thing that I liked.
He's turned into Dr. House.
Yeah, he's got a fake nose in it, which makes his face look a lot squarer than it usually. It's usually this big bulbous circle.
Yes.
And in this movie, his square face kind of square, and I think it makes him. And he's got hair.
Yeah.
And I think it makes him look different and interesting and changes his energy. And a lot of scenes in it, Emily Blunt is giving a much worse performance than him. Like, she's doing this very big, loud thing, and he's kind of the measured one. And I liked the dynamic between the two of them in that I thought it made him look good. And
despite it, is it a Pills performance or not?
it is a Pills performance. We definitely
But not by the traditional
not in the
definition
traditional sense.
much.
We nominated him for Pills performance at the Golden Boys this year, but I think it's quite a good Pills performance as they go, and it's restrained, and I quite liked him in it. Other things he's done since we last discussed him on the show are really just Red One and the Moana live action, which are obviously two of the most uninteresting films you could possibly come up with. I've seen Red One; it's not good. Moana live action, I wouldn't watch with a gun to my head. That is, I think, a somewhat of a nail of a coffin for him being in any way kind of take like. No, you know what? I'm not even going to say it. I think the nail in the coffin for people like seeing him as a market quality past years ago. I think the Smashing Machine almost was him leaning into the fact that people don't expect his.
He's like, all right, I actually got to do something different.
Which is weird that he would then go from that to live action Moana. I suppose live action Moana was probably as close as you can get to like
guaranteed.
Well,
hate. Like,
no,
not a hate.
I would say as close as you can get to mandatory community service in that. Who the fuck else is going to play that role?
Who are the big Polynesian men?
He originated the part in animation. The guy was animated to resemble him.
Yeah.
He is a Polynesian character. It's a movie about Polynesian folklore and tradition.
Yeah.
He kind of has to do that just as a bit of service to his community. If you're him, I think you don't see a way out of that. You're like...
I agree.
Now, if I was him, I would have insisted on hiring a good director to make that movie and to put an original spin on it. But clearly, they hired the fucking nobody animation director or the guy who did Hamilton on Broadway to do just the most absolute like shot for shot remake.
It's like it's such a no-brainer casting that I don't think people will reflect poorly on him for doing it because it's just like what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. He is in, and then Jumanji 3 Open World is out this Christmas and is going to be competing with the Doomsday double bill. He is apparently making a Scorsese movie with is it DiCaprio and Lawrence, or is it DiCaprio and Emily Blunt? It's DiCaprio and Emily Blunt.
It's Lawrence, no?
No, Lawrence is doing the real one that's actually been shot. This is another one after that.
Oh,
this is the one that it's him, Blunt, and DiCaprio, and it's set in Hawaii, and he's meant to be playing some notorious like Hawaiian gangster.
Right.
That does not sound interesting to me. I do not want Scorsese to spend his last 2 years making a Dwayne Johnson movie set in Hawaii. I'm not interested in that. They can go make that with someone else.
Yeah.
Don't waste Scorsese's
you
time.
did draw parallels to Brendan Fraser.
Very similar actor to Brendan Fraser in many ways.
Just like
funny and good at physical comedy.
And you know what? The career could have gone very similar if Brendan Fraser like was not subject to horrible things.
But I mean, there's literally a handover from them. He's
in
the Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
He does Journey 2, the sequel to Brendan Fraser's
exactly,
movie.
yeah.
So he literally took on the mantle of Brendan Fraser, and like, yes, if terrible things had happened to Brendan Fraser, and Brendan Fraser was still willing to do action through his late 40s, early 50s, maybe there wouldn't have been as many roles for The Rock to take. Obviously, The Rock had the advantage on Brendan Fraser of just being more enormous than any action star has ever been, and like can climb things and jump off things in a way that Brendan Fraser could. Also, it's funny, Brendan Fraser shows up in G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. That is an incredibly, like, that is literally the character pretty much that The Rock takes over in the sequel, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many ways in which Brendan Fraser sort of just bowed out in 2009, 2010 and was like, all right, you can have this one.
Like, I think there is room for him in a Scorsese
as a shouty guy in a courtroom, as a Mr. Burkhardt is my client,
yeah.
yes, but not as the fucking mobster behind a desk. I mean,
don't think
the one time Brendan Fraser did a role like that where he was wearing a pork pie hat, it was in that Soderbergh movie with Don Cheadle, which I did not enjoy. I don't think Brendan Fraser is used well when he's behind a desk. I don't think he's used well when he's playing a guy in a wheelchair. I don't think he's used well when he's playing President Eisenhower. Brendan Fraser is good these days at two things. The thing he was always good at, which is, I'm a goofy guy, goofy comedy movie.
Yeah.
The Rock is also very good at, and then he's very good at Mr. Burkhardt is my client. I demand to speak with him. So
Yeah, just like an overly serious, shouty man. Now, when's the last time Scorsese kind of worked with someone that was, I don't want to say a bit of a project, but like...
I'm going back in my head, like what do we got?
Like Killer's pretty established. De Niro, DiCaprio,
Silence, Irishman, Hugo, Wolf, Shutter Island.
maybe Wahlberg in The Departed. Like,
Maybe. Then there's a couple of the Leo movies, and then you're back into like Day-Lewis in 03. Maybe Wahlberg in The Departed. I just don't remember Wahlberg in The Departed.
No, I haven't seen The Departed.
It's
in
so
years and years and years.
weird to me that he was the only Oscar-nominated actor in that movie, and that's his only Oscar nomination.
But again,
both of those things are weird.
He again is like the fifth name in that.
Yeah.
If you were looking at the original cast,
Yeah, he gets the and.
yeah.
I just don't understand why people were willing to vote for him over Jack Nicholson when they were both put forward for supporting actor.
Yeah.
That feels like an administrative error occurred. Like,
I mean, we should just watch it in the next few days.
yeah, we should watch it.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to say about The Rock is that I do think this was a good run for him. This was right while he was doing the Fast and Furious movies. I think he looks great in this period. I think his facial hair, his baldness, his level of whatever he was doing with his fucking, veiny neck and whatever, he looked cool between like 2010 and 2014. And I think it made him a more interesting presence on screen.
Yeah, because he's not as stiff.
Whatever
he's not as kind of bulbous, I guess.
Yeah, whatever he's done physically to himself in the last 10 years has made him really uninteresting to look at. And I think in Red Notice, Red One, and the Jumanjis, he just looks like a stack of bricks with a googly eyes drawn on.
He's lost any bit of kind of ruggedness.
Yeah.
And like I think that's probably just a factor. He's 10 years older. He probably put on a bit of weight.
Yeah.
It's really hard to kind of maintain the lean.
Yeah.
The leanness.
Yeah, and look, I'm not going to tell him how he should or shouldn't
not.
look or how much he should weigh. It's just notable that in these few years, there was something he was able to capture as Hobbs and in those parts as like this big military guy that I was very drawn to that he has completely lost. And if he comes back and does Fast 10 like they teased in the post-credit scene that time, I'm not going to enjoy it as much as I did back when he was... Like, Hobbs and Shaw, it sucks, and he looks very different in that to how he looked in 5, 6, and 7, One more thing about him. His next interesting project is apparently he's in Benny Safdie's next movie as well, called Lizard Music. When a boy left to his own devices stumbles upon a secret late-night broadcast of lizards playing otherworldly music, a hidden door to the extraordinary swings open. His search for answers leads him to the eccentric and whimsical Chicken Man, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and his beloved companion, a 70-year-old chicken named Claudia, two kindred spirits who have also glimpsed the impossible. United by their shared vision, they set off on an adventure that begins as a hunt for a hidden society, but blossoms into something far greater, a voyage through invisible worlds. That sounds like something that was written during a drug-taking session and will probably be best watched during a drug-taking session. Something I would also say about Richard Kelly's Southland Tales, a film The Rock starred in 19 years ago.
Either that or it was written during a viewing of Minecraft, and they were like...
Yeah, it sounds a bit Minecraft as well.
Yeah, chickens and actors, children like...
And The Rock and Jason Momoa did a movie called Dreamland or Dreamtown or some shit.
Yeah.
Where he's in it. Jason Momoa is the natural heir to The Rock. But just has none of that. Nothing The Rock ever had to offer. Jason Momoa has none of that. Jason Momoa is awful.
Oh, he's got nothing.
And I can't be excited about him coming back for Dune 3. He's got nothing. We also like the scene in this where they're wearing the little funny glasses in the
tanning bed glasses.
All the money. It's
Sorry,
great.
like the number one thing of making a film good is just to put a guy in the glasses.
Yeah, it's
we had like a year of it there 2 years ago with the
Oppenheimer Killers. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. You know, we had to do it to him. It's great.
One or two more funny lines in this. Rich guy telling Dwayne Johnson who's wearing a yellow shirt, watch out, kids, don't mistake you for a school bus and try you can on.
Yeah.
Another point is Tony Shalhoub, is it?
Yeah.
Tries to escape and The Rock just fucking punches him in the face.
Yes.
Saying, God put me on this earth with fists to protect people or something.
I like when Wahlberg
it's
says
so
to him,
visceral. Like.
Wahlberg says to him, do you know Johnny Woo? And The Rock goes, I don't know about any Asian guy. That reminds me of Deepak Chopra saying, "I don't know this Indian man. I wanted to meet Bertie Ahern."
But yeah, there's so many great random like first person view shots here of people getting punched.
It's great.
And dragged along
No
the floor.
shot in this film lasts more than half a second, and every camera looks different. It's incredible.
It's really good.
We avoided doing Mark Wahlberg for a long time on this podcast because I think he is kind of boring. But
we're running out of actors.
We're running out of actors, and I'm looking at his career, and I'm like, he is kind of interesting. He's as interesting as a lot of these guys.
I didn't really understand your kind of resistance to.
I don't know. I always just thought of him as being like the absolute most like plays himself in every movie type of guy. But he's done some good work. He is the great rapper turned actor of all time. He is number one on that list of rappers turned actors with Travis Scott's Odyssey performance. Just narrowly behind. A bodybuilder, a trick.
Was Will Smith a rapper before he became an actor?
A tanning bed. Was Will Smith an actor or a rapper first? I think he was kind of both at the same time.
Yeah, he's kind of.
I'm not sure. Mark Wahlberg plays an Irish traveler in the movie Traveler with Bill Paxton, which I gotta watch. It's set in the States, but they play Irish travelers. I'm assuming they're like second or third generation Irish travelers in America. I need to see that movie. It sounds so interesting.
I won't.
Mark Wahlberg playing a traveler sounds just like the offensiveness alarms are ringing in HQ right now.
Anyway, I'll say it.
Yeah,
I think his way of speaking kind of
lends itself to that mannerism.
Yeah, it's a certain kind of breathiness,
and
or
he could do
like
a traditional Irish traveler
pronunciation of vowels that you kind of associate with a typical traveler accent. I don't disagree with you.
I mean, I think his whole persona does have just screams Irish American.
Yeah,
and I think yes, if you focus in on where his speech rhythms come from, you could eventually get to that type of accent. It's interesting. Yeah. Boogie Nights obviously his big breakout.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
Yeah, we watched it. Myself and Christina watched it New Year's Eve. Not my favorite PTA. It's very fucking laborious, very long. Like, I feel like if you love that movie, you love that movie. Yeah. But it has a lot in common with Babylon and Wolf of Wall Street in good and bad ways. Where there's just like, and look, Licorice Pizza. It's just like a lot of little episodic little adventures around LA.
I feel like I hear various people cite particular PTAs as being kind of laborious.
Yeah.
And it kind of just depends on which one you've selected.
Yeah,
as the one.
I know.
Like maybe it's just the day you watched it.
I mean, I think There Will Be Blood is incredibly laborious. And then I think Licorice Pizza is a blast that flies by. Ultimately, I think I just enjoy movies with younger lead characters more. Yeah.
And like, to be fair, There Will Be Blood is kind of just a one character.
Yeah, a lot of that film is one guy, yeah. His performance in Boogie Nights is great, though. I mean, there's one scene where his mother has like rips a fucking poster off his wall or something, and he just like loses his shit and starts screaming at her. Sometimes shit with mothers and sons screaming at each other in films just like really gets to me. I'm just like, this feels so real. And I found that scene where he's screaming at his mother to be like pretty incredible.
Yeah, because I guess there's kind of an implication that the number one person you have tolerance for in the world is your mother.
Yeah,
and that's who you're not going to
So
scream
he's
at,
good at that. And considering his famous catchphrase is "Say hi to your mother for me,"
has he ever actually said that, or is that?
I don't think so. I think that's an Andy Samberg creation.
Andy Samberg.
Yeah, if you're not familiar, go to YouTube, search Mark Wahlberg talks to zoo animals.
Yeah.
Hey duck, how you doing, duck? You fly? You got wings? That's the idea.
Say hi to your mother for me.
Yeah, it's good.
They should have cast him in the Psycho.
They should have. He does a bit of David O. Russell here and there over the years. Not two personalities I'd want to put together.
No.
Now is a good time to mention the hate crime he commits. So he was involved in the brutal assault and near death, I believe, of an elderly Asian man.
I don't know any Asian man.
Was it a black? No, sorry.
Sorry.
He attacked 3 black children, shouting the N-word, throwing rocks at them. That was the first racially motivated attack.
Okay, like, there's no ambiguity there, unfortunately.
Threw rocks at other black people during a field trip. Civil action was filed against him in 1986, and him and his friends were issued a civil rights injunction, which served a warning they'd be jailed if they committed another hate crime. Then he assaulted a middle-aged Vietnamese man on the street when he was 16, calling him slurs, knocked him unconscious with a large wooden stick. The same day, he attacked another Vietnamese American, punching him in the eye. There's lots of slurs in here. He said later that he was on PCP at the time.
What's that?
A drug. He went to jail. PCP is angel dust. He went to jail, and I think he has basically used religion now as a way to sweep this stuff under the carpet. Like, he was a
is the
teenager
religion I don't want to say a recent vow. Like,
I don't know exactly when Mark Wahlberg became religious. Typically, men who commit horrible acts of violence will adopt a religious personality as a way to distract from that and to say, I've changed. I'm different now. That was a different man. Now I'm religious Mark Wahlberg, and I'll never do it again.
Pain Again.
Yeah. Now, there's no evidence of Mark Wahlberg having been racist on the record in the last couple of years. So, you could say he turned his life around. He got off drugs, and now he's whatever.
What more can you ask for? He's not doing the crimes anymore, I guess.
Yeah. He did go on the Graham Norton show, pissed drunk that one time. And Graham Norton is the only interview that Graham Norton will go on the record saying, like, I didn't enjoy that, and he's never coming back on my show. Okay. He's like the only person that's banned from the Graham Norton show. Yeah. It was a really weird episode.
I remember Daddy's Home at the time or something.
I think it was for Ted 2.
Oh, right.
Or it was either for Transformers 4, Lone Survivor, or Ted 2. It was between this and...
Who was he on with?
I don't know. I don't have time to look that up.
Sure, that's fine. Never mind.
But Graham Norton's like, I didn't enjoy that. He was really drunk and it was really uncomfortable. And I remember watching with my parents the night it was on, being like, this guy's fucking out of his head.
Yeah.
He also now says he regrets being in Boogie Nights. He's like, that movie's about, the porn industry and drugs, and I've changed. I don't want anything to do with that. So it's like his fucking best performance, and he's like, I don't want anything to do with that. He also apologized to the Pope for Ted. Like, he's just being a loser.
He unfortunately thinks movies are real.
He thinks movies are real. He's such a loser. He's going around apologizing for all his best films because he's so wholesome and religious. But then he goes and makes movies where he shoots people with Peter Berg. So like he's so full of shit. He's constantly coming up in ads for prayer apps on my phone.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Him and Chris Pratt, and he clearly just like is in with a lot of very right-wing people who are kind of Trump adjacent.
Yeah.
So not a very cool guy, not someone I'd want to hang out with. However, some interesting stuff in his career. So there's a couple of David O. Russell movies. There's Three Kings. There's The Fighter, which I did watch recently, and like he's okay in The Fighter. Christian Bale is the standout performance in that. And the other Russell movie he does is I Heart Huckabees, which he's actually very good in because it's a comedy and it uses him well. Yeah. Then he does two James Gray movies with Joaquin Phoenix. The first one being The Yards, second one being We Live at Night. We Own the Night, sorry. I watched that today. It's all right. He's playing like the good brother who's a cop, and Joaquin is the bad brother who's a criminal. And it's okay. It's like James Gray is trying really, really hard to make like a classic 70s Lumet movie, and like he's kind of getting there, but not really. I thought that Joaquin was good in it. Wahlberg's character just doesn't really register. He's very much in the background. That's okay. Tim Burton, Planet of the Apes, probably sets him back a couple of years because that movie is such dog shit, and he's such bad casting in the Charlton Heston role. Like, why would you put Mark Wahlberg in the Charlton Heston role? But also, putting Mark Wahlberg into science fiction situations very quickly becomes a major, like, not dysfunctional thing. Like, you've got two examples, Planet of the Apes and The Happening. Now, I like The Happening, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, but Mark Wahlberg is horribly cast. He's playing a nerd science teacher who spends half that movie worrying about plants killing people. And there's a scene where he has an argument with a tree. And it's like, you cannot buy Mark Wahlberg doing this stuff. You know who's good at this kind of thing? Matt Damon. Matt Damon would have been pretty good in the Planet of the Apes remake. Yeah. Mark Wahlberg's like, hey ape, let me out of the cage, ape. And then in The fucking Happening, he's like, hey tree, hey, stop killing people, tree. It's dreadful.
Hey, mother for me, tree.
It's dreadful.
Yeah.
And he just seems to have contempt for the character that he plays in The Happening, because like Mark Wahlberg does not respect science teachers. I'm sorry. He thinks they're loser nerds. The Italian Job, I watched about 45 minutes today. Gonna finish it when we stop recording this episode. Pretty fun movie. Him in that and him in The Truth About Charlie, the Jonathan Demme remake of of Charade, are like basically the same. Where is The Truth About Charlie on his list of films here? Why can I not see it? Oh, there it is. He's playing characters called Charlie in both of those movies. They come out subsequent years, and they're both like heist, like fucking capers. I don't understand that at all. He does John Singleton's Four Brothers, which is fine. Then The Departed, Oscar nomination, and then beloved Shane Kelly film for classic Shooter as Bob Lee Swagger.
Shooter.
Give us 30 seconds on why you love Shooter so much. It looks like fun. I haven't seen it.
I don't know. I just
Danny Glover's in Shooter.
Danny Glover's in Shooter.
Is Michael Pena?
Michael Pena's in Shooter. Michael Pena gets put in like a torture suicide machine.
Oh, we love torture suicide machines.
Kate Mara's in Shooter.
That's fun.
Like, there's no reason on paper I should like this.
Political assassination stuff.
I don't
is
even
fun,
think
though.
it is.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
Post 9/11 Bush era sniper movies. Vantage Point. Shooter.
So what year did this come out?
Seven.
Seven.
Yeah.
I probably just watched this like 3 times when I was 13 on Film 4.
I thought it was class.
Not even thought it was class, but I was like, it obviously did something to me that I was willing to sit and just like watch it all the way through, and then
put you into a catatonic state.
I think so. It falls under that.
Yeah, you got Manchurian candidated by the Shooter.
And you know what? I still get Shooter snippets on TikTok and YouTube Shorts,
and it shoots enthusiasm into your body.
Absolutely. I think that's a real case. If I sit down and watch that properly, that's going to be like a 2-star film.
Yeah, right.
Then again, maybe it won't.
You just like
maybe I'll be justified.
Yeah. Well, I need to watch it.
Yeah.
He replaces Ryan Gosling last minute in The Lovely Bones, which is maybe the worst movie ever made. I do not like the version of him that shows up in Date Night shirtless behind the door. Like that's not interesting to me. Wahlberg as like the funny supporting actor. It's like the shit that Jamie Foxx does in
I was
Due
just
Date.
about to say Jamie
Foxx.
Foxx
Not interesting to me. The other guys, maybe I'll rewatch the other guys the next couple of days because I haven't seen it in like 15
Steve
years.
Coogan has a pretty big part in it.
Yeah, everyone goes nuts for the other guys, and I don't remember loving it that much.
Yeah.
But if it's half as good as Step Brothers, like it deserves a rewatch from me.
The other actor on your kind of like not covering him on the podcast list is Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Which I thought eventually we'd just get around to knocking the two of them out at once.
With that, yeah. Ferrell doesn't really have any other ones that we're going to want to do. Like, we're not doing Holmes and Watson. I've done a podcast about Step Brothers already with Brendan.
We covered John C?
We did John C. in Carnage.
Oh, we did.
So I'm not sure there's an obvious Will Ferrell one.
Who else is in, like, Eurovision or any of them?
Rachel McAdams. Done her.
Yeah.
There's obviously something with Will Ferrell. There's a fucking Woody Allen movie he's in. Like, but anyway.
Nevertheless.
Wahlberg has 2 stretches of thriller shite. There's the Peter Berg era. Well, it's sort of Contraband, Two Guns, and then he jumps into Peter Berg mode. And that kind of runs through the 2010s where he's doing Lone Survivor, Patriots Day, which I like. Deepwater Horizon, which is quite good.
Deepwater Horizon.
We watched that and we liked it. It's good and it's short and it gets to the point and it's fun.
Yeah, again, it's a good like disaster movie.
It works well.
Yeah.
Ted is great. I think Ted is like an incredible comedy, and I think he's brilliant in Ted. Not good in Ted 2, but the scene in Ted where he lists all the names of the women is the funniest shit ever. Like, he's brilliant in those movies, in the first movie.
It really is.
Transformers, whatever, he doesn't really do much.
Because it lets him, like, for all intents and purposes, have an entire conversation with a zoo animal.
Yeah, exactly, which is what he's good at. Exactly, talking to animals is what he's good at. Daddy's Homes, whatever. Don't care about them.
Disregard.
All the Money in the World, really, really weird casting of him in that.
Very.
But he does interesting stuff. You know, like all the money in the world and The Gambler are interesting. And then Mile 22 is the other Berg. Instant Family. Some people go nuts for Instant Family. It's a very specific story. It's about foster parenting, and some people love that. I watched it. I thought it was fine. I thought it was harmless. It's him and Rose Byrne. He's kind of miscast. I ended up thinking, and it's a bit lazy, but I ended up thinking they should have just got Seth Rogen to play Rose Byrne's husband in this. Yeah. I think it would just make the movie more consistent, because that film is like a comedy, but it's dealing with this very sensitive subject matter. So I was like,
it doesn't really rely on the muscles at all.
No,
he
doesn't.
Be a feature.
He's wrong for it. He's not good. He's not good at the sincere stuff. So I was like, just get Seth Rogen, and it just becomes more of a comedy. And Seth Rogen can do the sincere stuff too. Spencer Confidential, another Berg. Then Joe Bell, which we watched once, which is a film where his gay teenage child has killed himself.
Yeah.
And he goes on some sort of journey to deal with that.
He goes on like kind of not a charity drive, but
pilgrimage.
he decides to walk across the entirety of the United States, giving talks to school students.
About bullying.
Yeah.
It's like a weird, it's like semi-evangelical, but also kind of
And the son
woke.
is following him along as it goes.
It's kind of woke and progressive, though, because the son is gay. And there's one very funny scene where I believe him and his son sing Bad Romance by Lady Gaga together out on a road. It's an interesting film.
But sorry, it has the most incredible ending where it's just like Joe Bell got hit by a truck and died on the road.
I forgot about that.
Sorry, that's the most insane part of it.
I don't remember anything about
He just
Joe Bell.
dies.
That's insane.
And I think it's based on a real guy.
It's definitely based on a real guy.
Yeah, and he like didn't
I'm going to
finish
read
his
my
walk.
Letterboxd review of it. Who the fuck thought this would be an uplifting watch? All right, okay.
Yeah, because he just dies at the end.
Jesus Christ.
It's really unfortunate.
Infinite is good fun. Legends never die. They're just reborn.
Yeah.
He's supporting to Tom Holland in Uncharted.
Oh,
Stupid.
Uncharted sucks.
Paycheck gig nonsense. He's in the Mel Gibson movie Father Stu, where he plays the titular Father Stu. Yeah. And now we're into streaming territory. This is his second wave of action movies. Some of these are comedies, some of these are action movies. We got Me Time with Kevin Hart, The Family Plan, and The Family Plan 2 with Michelle Monaghan. They're secretly spies. Arthur the King is like Joe Bell, but he's got a dog. The Union is a spy thing with him and Halle Berry. Play Dirty is a, I believe, Shane Black movie with him and Lakeith Stanfield that nobody saw.
That sounds good on paper.
The one theatrical one is Flight Risk, the Mel Gibson movie where he's in a tiny plane with Topher Grace and Michelle Dockery. Dobie said that film was fun. He liked it. Then you got Balls Up with Paul Walter Hauser, which came out recently.
Had a fun trailer,
which is about condoms that fit the balls, set during the World Cup.
I think that storyline kind of
runs out of
runs its course like 10 minutes in.
Yeah, and then he has a new movie coming out in like a couple of weeks called By Any Means with Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, where he's wearing a fake nose. He looks like Woody Harrelson on the poster.
Is this like an MLK thing?
Yeah, it's about 60s civil rights assassination stuff.
Oh,
and he's playing a notorious mafia hitman, Greg Scarpa, and he has a fake nose in it. And probably thought he was going to get an Oscar nomination for it, but it's just being marketed as
it
like
would be funny if they just let Mark Wahlberg play MLK.
I wouldn't put it past them. No. I don't have anything to say about Mark Wahlberg. Do you? Is he ever going to make like a great movie again? Probably not.
I don't think so. I don't think there's an incentive there for anyone to try and put him in stuff.
Like, he seems to like working with Mel Gibson too much. That's a fucking disaster for him. Like,
yeah, he seems like a fella who'd rock up on set and be like, oh, I gotta do my routines,
do my prayers. Like,
not to knock anyone who wants to do prayers.
I will knock a guy who committed hate crimes in his youth who does prayers.
Yeah,
I will.
Enough.
I think
seems probably difficult to work with.
The only way I can see him doing something interesting is if he's in the Sean Penn in One Battle After Another type position, where he plays a nasty guy in a good film where his weird off-putting energy is like weaponized in an interesting way. Because he has good comic timing.
Like in this.
He has good comic timing.
I think that's probably his appeal in The Departed as well.
Yeah,
he's probably just playing a shit cop. Like.
Yeah, so maybe that's why he should be put in.
Unless Seth MacFarlane comes up with something funnier than Ted.
Very unlikely. Seth MacFarlane is now on a 14-year cold streak with making funny movies, so I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. All right, that's enough about Mark Wahlberg. Let's get the box office going. Yeah. Unless you have anything else.
Sorry, do you want to make a point about the numbers there, just while I pull up the box office?
The numbers that we use to get the box office. You know, we used to, or in the early days of the show, we would spend a lot of the show reading out of the things from the numbers, because I would do this thing where I would sort the actor's filmography by gross, and I would like make you guess their total box office gross, and then I would read out the movies from like top to bottom in terms of box office. A weird thing that we stopped doing eventually. I don't think that was ever a good way to look at the people's careers, but it was entirely dependent on a feature on the numbers that just no longer exists. And the numbers main guy in charge did an interesting interview this week, basically explaining that AI bots were scraping the numbers for data, and they were scraping it for data because they were trying to use it for algorithms for gambling, that they'd be able to get the box office data before anyone else in order to deal with betting on box office. Go read it. It's interesting.
It is.
But it means the website is currently like a bare bones version of itself, which we have learned recently.
Yeah, ultimately, like, so much of the traffic just became AI scrapers
but the website
online.
was just crashing constantly.
Yeah.
So it's tough out there, folks. Avoid using AI bots to scrape data, please. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes websites we like will stop working overnight. This movie was released in, I'm going to say, September 2013?
April.
Sorry. I watched it in September 2013. Yeah. Sorry, so this did come out a full year before Transformers 4. Okay, great.
This is getting hype for the summer movie.
Yeah. I, in my head, was watching this in September. So this film did come out around the same time as Spring Breakers.
I thought that was about 3 years later.
Right around the same time as G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Yeah, G.I. Joe was in here.
And right around the same time as Fast 6.
The Rock
was
overexposed
in 2013. And I think Snitch was also 2013 or 14. He was
Every movie star just keeps making movies until they make 5 in a year, and then that never happens again.
We're having a couple of those this year.
We're having a Hathaway.
Pattinson and Hathaway. Yeah. And Zendaya. All right. So where does this open? Number 1?
Number 1.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah.
What's number 2?
Number 2,
April 2013.
probably considered
I should be good at this.
not a low point, but a bit of a lull for one of our more consistent and greatest movie stars.
Right. Is this Oblivion?
This is Oblivion.
Yeah. Oblivion's a real April movie. The one time that Tom Cruise, he came to Dublin twice. He came to Dublin for Interview with a Vampire in the 90s, and then he came for Oblivion in 2013 and did the Late Late Show with Ryan Tuberty. Just a very odd thing that happened that Tom Cruise met Ryan Tuberty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pulling the absolute plum of himself.
Off himself. That joke's not even about Ryan Tuberty.
I know, but
I think it's funnier when it's about Pat Kenny.
I do as well, but it's just thinking about
folks. Go to the comment section of Late Late Show Lara Croft, and you'll.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3.
Next up, it's a movie with a number for a title.
A big number or a small number?
Like
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
no,
9, 10,
double digits.
Double digits.
Yeah.
Oh, this movie's 42.
42.
The Jackie Robinson biopic with Chadwick Boseman and Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Chad. A real one.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Jackie Robinson, one of a small number of baseball players that I can name.
Yeah. Go on, give me 2 more.
Joe DiMaggio.
Correct.
And Yogi Berra. We did this on the show recently.
Probably, yeah.
I recently met someone whose brother was the tallest guy in the history of baseball or whatever. Yeah. And I had this conversation with her about how I couldn't name any baseball players. And she was like, do you not even know X? And it was literally someone I'd never heard of. So I'm very bad with baseball. Anyway, continue.
Okay, this is an interesting film I haven't heard of.
Oh, yeah? Is it a film with an all-black cast?
Absolutely not. This is the widest cast I've ever seen in my life.
All right, okay.
There are 8 actors on the poster.
Okay.
And
April 2013. All right, okay.
You have seen it and you have given it 2 stars, but no review.
Yeah.
Right.
Give me a genre.
Family comedy, but not family comedy in like for families to watch. Like
The Big Wedding.
The Big Wedding.
That was a good guess by me.
That was a good guess, yeah.
Robin Williams. I'm going to guess the actors in the poster. Robin Williams, Robert De Niro, Diane Keaton.
No.
What?
Sorry, what?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were trying to do the specific
No,
layout.
I'm just naming the people on the poster.
The poster's in like 3 bands.
Williams, De Niro, Keaton.
Yep.
Katherine Heigl?
Yep.
Topher Grace?
Probably.
I think he's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is when it gets tough. Topher
Grace is there, yeah.
Yeah. The Big Wedding. Oh, man.
No, the other man is Ben Barnes, I think.
Yeah. Oh, Ben Barnes. All of our favorite actor, Ben Barnes.
Then we have 2 of the most beautiful women in the world.
White?
Yeah.
2 of the most beautiful women in the world are in The Big Wedding. Jesus Christ. I can't begin to conceive of who could be in that movie.
Both of their surnames begin with S.
Oh, man. In The Big Wedding.
Yeah.
Heigl is the bride. So these
No,
are like,
she's not.
No, one of these is the bride.
Yeah.
Well, who's the groom? Ben Barnes.
I believe
Is
so.
this an English actress? They're either of them English.
No, Americans.
One of their surnames beginning with S.
Both of their surnames begin with S.
Oh my god, give me initials on both of them.
AS and SS.
Sarah Snook?
Nope.
Susan Sarandon.
Correct.
And AS. Okay, I was thinking younger. Okay, yeah. Susan Sarandon, you're right.
This surely has to be at the tip of your tongue. Like.
AS.
Yeah. We're big fans.
Have we done her on the podcast?
Yeah. I think so. And she would be. She'd be.
We've done her
She's
on
relevant to the actors we're discussing today as well.
Oh, Amanda Seyfried. Is in The Big Wedding.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. That's so fucked up.
Yeah.
The Big Wedding.
Missy O'Connor she plays.
The Big Wedding was like people were tricked into being in that. They filmed it without their knowledge. Like,
Yeah.
The Big Wedding.
Yep. Open to 7.5 million.
Respectable. All right, next up.
This is an animated film of this time.
Not Turbo.
Nope.
Earlier in the year. Oh, I don't know. I need a clue. 2013.
2 directors. That's not great.
No, I would have.
Have you seen this? You have. This is another.
I've seen everything from 2013.
This is another Lucien 2-star log.
No, is it epic?
No.
Fuck. Oh, I don't know.
The Journey Begins is the tagline.
The Journey Begins.
I'd call this another like family themed movie.
Fuck. The Croods.
The Croods.
Oh. I've interviewed the director of The Croods too.
Crude-in-law.
Nicolas Cage and Emma Stone are in that film.
They are indeed.
Some of my favorite actors.
I know.
All right. Do one more and then we're ending this.
You've mentioned it a couple of times. We watched them not so long ago.
G.I. Joe 2?
G.I. Joe 2.
With The Rock, yeah.
Then we got Scary Movie 5.
Oh, that's funny.
Olympus Has Fallen.
Ugh.
Place Beyond the Pines.
Yeah.
And fucking Jurassic Park re-release. And then Mud.
Ugh. Mud is
opening week of Mud.
Mud is a slog. Jeff Nichols, I will get you one day. All right. Thanks for tuning in, folks. No one has ever named this film in their Letterboxd top 4. R.I.P. That sucks. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Shane. Thank you for listening. We can go to... I'm so tired. I'm so tired and my throat is full of mucus. You can go to boypartypod.com. You can follow the show on Instagram, boypartypod. We'll be back next Tuesday, because we always are. I'm spending the next couple days in Greece, so who knows what kind of fun movie we'll do when we get back.
Big Fat Greek Wedding of sorts.
It's probably not going to be that.
We do a Greek film.
I don't think I can think of any that would fit the format.
Probably.
Thanks for tuning in. See you soon. Bye-bye.